Michigan football's recruiting class finished at 18th overall according to 24/7, but we all know that high school recruits aren't the only way to build a roster anymore. The transfer portal allows experienced players to come into a program and make an immediate impact. The Wolverines added 7 players in the portal and finished with the number 15 portal class. Let's take a look at all 7 additions. AJ Barner, tight end. Barner is 6'6", 252, transferring from Indiana. From On3, AJ Barner was an Indiana captain in 2022, where he hauled in 28 receptions for 199 yards and 3 touchdowns in 10 games. He had multiple catches in 8 games for the Hoosiers. Barner played 663 offensive snaps, the 5th most on his team, and was targeted 50 times, 3rd on the team. He played in 12 games with 1 start in 2021, hauling in 14 catches for 162 yards and 1 score, catching 3 or more passes in each of the last 3 games. Barner is much needed for the Wolverines, who lost Luke Schoonmaker to the NFL and Eric All to the portal. AJ Barner's experience and Colston Loveland's quick rise to stardom should make for quite the tight end duo in Ann Arbor. Jack Tuttle, quarterback. So AJ Barner isn't the only Hoosier making his way to Ann Arbor for the 2023 season. Jack Tuttle will be a 6th-year senior for the Wolverines, providing some depth to a quarterback room that doesn't have a ton of experience from its backups. Tuttle started in Utah back in 2018 before heading to Indiana, and now he's on his way to Michigan. He only had about 180 pass attempts at Indiana, but experience is never a bad thing. Here's a tweet from Crimson Quarry. Jack Tuttle was one of the most beloved members of the locker room, and AJ Barner was always the nicest guy on earth when you ran into him on campus. If any Michigan fans are curious about what you're getting here. Drake Nugent, center. Michigan's center for the 2022 season was Olu Oluwatimi, who won the Remington Award as the nation's top center. That's a huge loss and a big spot to fill. Luckily, Michigan was able to land Drake Nugent. Nugent is 6'1", 300 pounds. He started 24 straight games for Stanford and has 2 years of eligibility remaining with the Wolverines. Pro Football Focus College tweeted out that new Michigan center Drake Nugent, over the past 2 seasons, has 993 pass block snaps and only allowed 2 quarterback hits on those snaps. And on the Pro Football Focus College grades, Nugent was actually ranked ahead of Olu Oluwatimi at the end of the season. Josiah Stewart, edge. Michigan's leading pass rusher, Mike Morris, declared for the NFL draft, but once again, Michigan was able to fill a need via the transfer portal by getting Josiah Stewart, edge rusher from Coastal Carolina. He's 6'2", 230. He was a high school teammate of Michigan defensive back Mike Sainristil. Stewart had 10 tackles for loss and 3.5 sacks in 2022, and 12.5 sacks in 2021 with Coastal Carolina. Miles Hinton, offensive tackle. So we already saw where Michigan got 2 transfers from Indiana, so why not make it 2 from Stanford as well? And why not make it Miles Hinton, brother of former Wolverine Chris? Miles was heavily recruited by Michigan out of high school, but he ultimately chose Stanford, but now he's going to be suiting up for the Maize and Blue after all. He had a 96 rating coming out of high school, and he carries a 90 rating as a transfer. The Wolverines are losing their starting left tackle in Ryan Hayes, so adding Hinton could be huge. Miles joins the back-to-back Joe Moore award-winning offensive line under coach Sharon Moore. Ladarius Henderson. Oh, you thought Michigan was done getting offensive line transfers? Wrong. They got 6'5", 310-pound offensive lineman Ladarius Henderson from Arizona State. In 2021, he was the 11th highest graded guard overall in the Pac-12 during the regular season. He was named a team captain in 2022, but didn't play after October 8th after suffering a broken bone in his hand. Again from 24/7, there might not be an offensive guard prospect with a more exciting blend of physical tools than Henderson. At 6'5", 310, Henderson has good height and above average overall mass, but his chief defining measurable is his length. He has quantifiably elite length with arms that measure safely over 35 inches long. Henderson said, after much prayer and thought, I will be spending the last chapter of my college journey at the University of Michigan. So the Wolverines added 3 starting caliber linemen from the transfer portal. That is just incredible. Ernest Hausman, linebacker. Saving the highest rated for last, linebacker Ernest Hausman has transferred to Michigan. Hausman tallied 54 tackles as a true freshman for Nebraska in 2022. He has great speed and made some athletic plays against the Wolverines last year. In a 34-3 loss to Michigan, Houseman had 10 tackles, 8 solo, and his only sack of the season. He was the number 2 player in the transfer portal this year. It's a very exciting pickup for Michigan, who also brought back Chris Partridge to coach the linebackers. In addition to the high school recruits, Michigan brings in a total of 31 new players for the 2023 season, which is setting up to be yet another special one. I can't wait to see how it plays out. Go Blue!